Well, hello everybody. So today I got a new VCR. It's this Toshiba Beta VCR here. And you're probably saying, hey, didn't you already buy a Toshiba Beta VCR like not long ago? Well, yeah, you're right. I already had a Toshiba Beta VCR. It's this one here that I bought it not long ago, a few weeks ago. And so the reason why I bought another one, well, I bought it not for me. I bought it for my friend, the VCR King. So I knew that he really wanted a Toshiba Beta VCR. It's one of the VCR that he wants the most, and so I saw this VCR for sale on Kijiji, and so I wrote to the person and did an offer, and so I bought it. And because it is planned that I will meet the VCR King again this year, and so I will have this VCR to give to him. And so I saw this VCR for sale on Kijiji. It was $75, but I didn't pay that much. I offered to the person $30, but then the person did a counter offer, $35, so I accepted. And then I went to the person's place and I tested the VCR with a tape. The person did not have a TV at home, but I tested the VCR plugged to a power outlet, and I used one of my tapes to test the mechanism. And I inserted the tape, and I pressed play and fast forward and rewind, tested the VCR functions, and the tape did not turn, and the VCR turned off after 1 second. And then I pressed eject, and I thought that the VCR would eat the tape because the tape was not turning, but it pulled the tape back correctly, and it did not eat it. So they saw that the VCR was defective, so I told them since it's defective I would like to buy it anyway, but for $10. And so that's what happened. I got this VCR for $10 defective, and I knew what the problem would most likely be, like a bad belt and tire. So that's the classic, what always happens in these vintage VCRs. It surprisingly did not happen with the other Toshiba. This one I got it already fully working. But this one, that is what happened, and a good thing I brought it home, and I was able to fix this VCR, and so that is great. I replaced one belt and one idler tire. So actually the idler tire I did not replace it. I took the original one and I boiled it. I put it in boiling water, and so this is supposed to kind of fix belts and tires, rubber parts. And it works now. It does fast forward and rewind correctly. It's turning well. It turns correctly, and it does not eat the tape. So when I was at home, it happened one time that it ate the tape. So I had to splice it because it was highly damaged. It got almost cut by the VCR's gears. So it was I had to splice it. And boiling the idler tire in water, I don't know if it will always work, or I don't think it does miracles, but it seems that it kind of works for this VCR. Now it's turning well, and so that's great. The person said that they were going to throw it away, so thank God I decided to buy it anyway, and hoping that I could fix it, and I was able to. So Anthony, my friend, the VCR King, he's going to have a working Toshiba Beta VCR like he has always wanted, and so that's great that he has the occasion to have one. And I'm not going to show you do like an in-depth review of this VCR like I did with the other one, because this VCR is basically the same thing. So I just want to show it to you quickly and compare it with the other Toshiba, because inside these two VCRs is exactly the same thing. So now here's the two VCRs, one on top of the other, and the backside of these two look exactly the same. You can't even tell which is which, except when you look at the model number. So now the one here that I have just got, the model number is V-M41C, and here's the one I bought a few weeks ago, V-M42C. So it's just one digit off. So probably just the following model, this one. And yeah, they didn't change the backside at all. The front is a little different. So now here's the two VCRs viewed from the front, and I plugged them, and I did not set the clock. So you can see they are both blinking 12. So that is what happens on these vintage VCRs when the clock is not set. And the front of these two VCRs is quite a lot different, like the placement of the buttons. So that's going to be quite interesting to compare these two models of vintage Toshiba Beta VCRs. So from the mid 80s, 1984. So they are very old, 35 years old. They are from the same era. So the color of the VCRs is the same. It's like a silver color. So they kept the same color. So the design is similar, but just the placement of the buttons and all that is quite a lot different. So just here the TV VCR rack buttons here on the VCR, completely different placement. And here we have a timer, OTR. Don't know exactly what OTR does on the VCR. Some very old VCRs have that function. I think it's for like doing a recording of a certain time. So I haven't read the user manual of these Toshiba Beta VCRs, so I don't know exactly what the OTR button does, but I think it's like you press it and it will record for 30 minutes, then it will stop. So like JVC VCRs like this one have a similar function, like this one and the JVC HR A56U, which is in the living room upstairs. That one, when you press the record button 2 times, it will go in a 30-minute record mode. So it will go in, it will record for 30 minutes, then it will stop. And when you press the button again, then it will go in a 1 hour record mode, and so on. And so I don't know if this VCR, the OTR button does that, but on the JVC it used the same button, the record button. And so the placement of the button is different. Like you have this switch here, and yeah, it does not work because I must not have put back the front correctly, like because I took it off. So I could lift off the cassette carriage to access the other tire. It wasn't that hard to do, but I must have not put back this correctly. I'll just fix that. And here the placement of the buttons is that's something similar. Just they are not exactly placed the same, and they don't look the same, but they keep the same design. So you can see how they are placed. They are square buttons, and this is something I think it looks nice. I like VCRs that have buttons like that have square buttons like this, and so that looks nice, and it's quite interesting. And the power and eject buttons, those are the same place, the Beta logo, and the eject buttons different. So here is all that piece here that is used for pressing the eject button, and here you have a different shape of button. Power button is at the same place. The display is not exactly at the same place. Here you have a Beta 3 indicator LED. This one does not have it, but they both have a cassette indicator. So when you insert the tape, this lights on. And you on these two VCRs, you both have a switch for record mode, Beta 2 and Beta 3, and you have tracking. You have the same thing here, and you have a plug for the remote. So this must be one of the main difference for these two VCRs. This one uses a wireless remote, and this one probably uses only a wire remote. So and you plug it there. So that must be one main difference between these two VCRs. So wire remote and infrared remote. The Toshiba logo is not at the same place also. And you can see here, like the front of this one is like made tilted like this, and this one is straight vertically. So this one's like a diagonal placed kind of. And so that's not that common to find, like VCRs that have a front like tilted like that. The two VCRs have that thing here for setting the channels, and it's exactly identical. And now we will see the inside of these two VCRs. It looks exactly the same, but it's still going to be interesting to see. Now here's the two Beta VCRs viewed from the inside, and that's very interesting. They look exactly the same. I can't tell any difference, like viewed from the inside. So only thing that's different between the VM41 and the VM42 is the front, like and also the fact that one uses a wire remote and one wireless remote. and the inside looks exactly the same as you can see. Can you even tell the difference? That's very interesting. The mechanism looks quite interesting. That must be why the VCR King wants one. It's very interesting. I love this mechanism. It's also quite special and very fun to see in action. So we will put a tape. Eject. Now in the other one to compare. So really cool, this carousel gear, so ring gear that goes around the drum. So you could see it looks the same, they sound exactly the same. So of course same exact tape mechanism. So the cassette carriage motor, just like in the Toshiba VHS VCRs, is quite noisy. So it must be the type of motor they use. I've talked about these motors before. So these type of motors. Now we will press play. The drum starts up. And the tape turns well now with the replaced parts. And there is a belt that goes on the bottom side from this motor to the capstan, which is here. And I replaced that one, and it had turned into goo. So you might know what this means if you know VCRs. It was literally melted, that belt. And so when a belt turns into goo like that, you take a Kleenex and a tissue and clean it. And you don't want to get some of on your hands because it's pretty hard to clean after. So you can see it went on my fingers, and I did clean them. So it's pretty hard to get off. And but for the metal, for the metal pieces in the VCR, it was pretty easy to clean. I found out it goes off easily with lighter fuel, so that's what I used, and it really dissolves the molten rubber. So it did work pretty well. I did not replace that belt here, so I don't know why exactly the capstan belt was molten, but not this one. So it must be a different material, but I don't know why they use a different material. Pinch roller was still good, and so there is another tire behind this. So the cassette carriage mechanisms sound quite similar to the Toshiba VHS VCR, so just like this one here. And now we will do rewind and fast forward. So it seems to work well now. And so really good. So Anthony, the VCR King, you will be happy to have this VCR. And now you probably want me to insert a tape at the same time in these two VCRs, so I'm going to do that now. And now I will insert the tape at the same time in the two VCRs with my foot. And I actually noticed that what was doing the squeaking sound in this VCR after I replaced the tire, it's actually not due to the VCR. It was when I was using this tape. So actually this VCR is perfectly working. This tape is doing the sound. So because I've tested it now in the other, and it does the same. So it's like something that's rubbing inside the tape. So these two VCRs are perfectly fine now. the video works too. And now let's do that. So perfectly synchronized. So I heard the tape loading sound in stereo, because there's the two VCRs. Perfectly synchronized, isn't that cool? Let's do it again. Really cool, they are synchronized. And so that's pretty much the end of my video. So I'll say you bye, and I'll see you later for another video. So I don't know if it will be a beta or a high-end VCR or a VHS. We never know. Now since these VCRs have a power outlet on the back, I've plugged this VCR into this one. And on this one I've plugged my fan on it, because it's summertime, so I have a fan out. It's plugged there, and it's a vintage fan from the 1970s. So very good fans. They blow very well.